If you're a heating air conditioning technician or a salesperson, what's 5 things that you need to know about being slow, and how does this help you? This is an important question. I'm Scott Bell. I'm coming to you live from Sacramento on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you for HVAC technicians, sales secrets. So I got 5 topics that I really want to talk to you about of what you can do when it's slow as a technician or a salesperson. And you do have to know that sometimes the weather just does not work to your advantage. I remember when I was a comfort advisor, there was a couple of summers where the weather didn't show up for the winter or the summer. And that means that you have to do different things to close some deals. And it's really easy to close deals when it's hot outside or when it's cold outside, to sell memberships, to flip systems, to sell parts. But it can be challenging when there's nothing going on. So you have to get good at what you do. And part of this is saving money. Now, if you talk to financial advisors, they'll tell you to save between 3 and 6 months of monthly savings so that if something happens, you have some money. And I'm going to say, hey, if you're just starting out, shoot for 2 months of whatever you make in the bank in case things are slow, because you never know, right? This is why you should join HVACtechsecrets.com. I'll put the link right up here, because there's going to be times where you just don't have the money that you need to do. And if you're living to paycheck because you've got a boss or a manager telling you should spend every cent that you make, probably think that thing through. Number 2, training. You have the ultimate opportunity for training when the weather is not to your favor in heating, air conditioning sales, or even any in-home sales, roofers, electricians, plumbers, right? You got to know that training becomes super important. And most people are going to stay at home. They're going to go fishing, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you watch 1, 2, 3 hours of training a day and take really good notes and put an implementation guide together, you can bypass a lot of your industry. Now, within training, you could say, hey, this is number 3. You could go on ride-alongs. You can ask people who actually have calls that, they're closing deals, whatnot. You could say, hey, is it all right if I come ride with you and take notes? And now, here's the thing on a ride-along. It's their call, not your call. Now, I can think of a couple of times where people say, hey, Scott, can I come ride with you? And I'd say, yeah, absolutely. You can come ride with me, no problem. Let's go out and let's go do some calls. But what you need to know is if you interrupt and you try to take over my call, I'm going to go take you somewhere and drop you off. Because I had people that would say, hey, can I come fly in and ride with you? I had people say, hey, from the company, will you come work with me? But that's the rule. You got to set the groundwork. And in number 3, this is super important. You got to know that if someone's going to come to work with you, you have to set the boundaries. My call, not your call. Your job is to sit there and watch. Occasionally you could build rapport, but if I'm going into a closing process, you need to shut your freaking mouth. Okay? You could call a friend if you know somebody that's in a different area or different state. Hey, can I fly out and come ride with you and get permission from their company? And there's a lot of people that are gracious and say, yeah, absolutely, come work with me. And this starts good relationships where you can talk to somebody and say, hey, it's slow where I'm at. What are you doing right now? Okay. So training and ride-alongs are your best friend. You can't only rely on the company that you're at to get stuff done, because I will tell you, having somebody come out and work with your team is not cheap. It's expensive because that person has learned the skills, the talents, the capabilities. They've invested in themselves. So there's times where companies will say, hey, Scott, we want you to come work with our teams. And they think that it's going to be this much money when it's really that much money, because, it takes a lot to learn what to do. Number 4 on this list is you can have a side hustle completely outside of heating and air, right? You can flip cars. You can go on Craigslist and find things that people are giving away for free and then create a posting and then try to sell it for a couple of bucks, because anything that you make is free money. Like, realistically, if you let's say you find like a bookcase and you find this bookcase for free, it needs a little bit of work, you fix it up and somebody gives you $50 and it took you 30 minutes to fix it up, 30 minutes to pick it up. You made $50 for an hour's worth of work. So you can have a side hustle outside completely of heating and air. And I would recommend this. If you're out there, doing a side hustle for, like, I'm going to go fix stuff and pretend that I've got a company, there's some definite challenges with that. I'm not an attorney. I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to give you any legal advice. But there's some companies that very much frown upon it, which is totally understandable. Like, they took the time and everything to train you. If you're out there doing systems on the side or repairs on the side, you're really acting as an independent company and should really think about what's going on. Just my opinion. You may not like me for that, and that's okay. And then number 5 is vacation. right? You really should schedule a vacation as a technician or a salesperson and know when you're going to go. Like I always knew that I was going to take like 2 to 3 weeks off around Christmas because people just didn't want me in a house. So like, I'm going to go spend time on the beach. I'll go sit out in Hawaii, write a book. I'll go sit out in Hawaii, shoot YouTube videos. Like I'm not you, you're not me. You have your own path and your own direction that you can go. And so it's super important for you to figure this out. So let's recap this. 1, put some money in savings. 2, get some training, go somewhere, ask somebody for help, do some ride-alongs, whether with your company or an outside company. Get some training for a different idea or a different concept, learn a different language. Like, it doesn't have to be heating and air. That's the thing. Training, like, I'm working on learning Spanish right now. I wish I would have learned Spanish 20 years ago. It would have really helped me, okay? Ride-alongs. Go ride along with people, have people come ride with you, set the ground rules. If you're gonna have somebody come ride with you, they've gotta know it's your call, not their call. And the number 4 is a side hustle. Find a side hustle that makes you a couple of bucks every month. Right? Like I mentioned, like you could flip couches, you could flip stuff that's for free. You could flip cars. I mean, depending upon the state you're in. I'm not an attorney, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a marriage counselor. Just got to know that, like, check the rules. And the number 5, get a vacation. You got one thing to do from here, just one thing. Find the subscribe button, click on it. Every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. This says HVAC Technician Sell Secrets on another fantastic video. You should check it out, which you should. We'll see you soon.